with our second keynote session for the day. Our second keynote session will throw light on the topic, Legal Counsel to a Leader, and how to get there. Please welcome our keynote speaker, Mekhla Basu, Senior Director, Head of Ethics and Compliance, APAC at Otis Elevator Co.
Thank you so much, Philip. This was a great presentation and a great uh, keynote. I'll try to live up to your shoes. This is my presentation. It was just Friday that the organizers mentioned to me that we want you to speak and we want you to talk about your journey. So firstly, first disclaimer, as a lawyer, I'm not sure whether my journey is worth it, but what I do want to do today is share my learnings, right? Second thing is I have spent the better part of my life in-house, so I'm probably going to give more of an in-house perspective, and maybe that could be transferable to a lot of you who are also working with law firms, owning business, who are business owners. So with that, let me introduce myself. My name is Mekhla. I live here in Singapore. I work with Otis, a company that makes elevators and escalators. Um, Made to move you is the theme of the company, so we are here to move, hopefully onwards and upwards. I take care of so officially, as you can see, my designation is Senior Director, Ethics and Compliance for APAC, but I like to call myself someone who takes care of the department. So with that, legal counsel to a leader. And I've got 15 minutes, right? So I'll stick to time to be respectful of everyone's time. So yes, legal counsel to a leader. Let me take you back and give you a little bit of a personal perspective. I come from a progressive upper middle class family in India. Most of my family members, uh, parents, uncles, aunts, they're from STEM, science and technology, doctors, engineers. So legal field was a new field for me to dab on. And I don't know why I studied law or read law, but haven't really regretted the decision yet. Now, what really makes a legal counsel, right? I think yesterday Ian spoke a little about being a business partner. So we, of course, are equipped with a degree that we study or read in law schools. Unfortunately, the legal system, at least where I studied in India, did not equip us to be business leaders, right? So we learn it along the way. And if one is working in-house, I think it is absolutely imperative that we learn how to navigate our leadership roles and schemes. Because mind you, whether you were starting off your journey as a legal counsel or you have gone up, so to say, the so-called ladder and at an executive role, the role of a lawyer is that of a leader intrinsically. There is no difference, right? Because you're basically telling people what to do, right? Simply put. So how do you really navigate that journey within the in-house structure, right? I have a few pointers. As I said, this is my presentation. So the first one is obviously excellent work product, right? As lawyers, we have to remember, we can't forget that we are lawyers. Law is the bread and butter, right? So the, motivation here is how do we provide the most applicable and the most practical legal advice, A lot of us, are sort of, as we have grown into the system, right? We, uh, we are very well adapted to interpret law and to speak about law, right? But are we telling a story, right? How well do we tell a story? When we pose a problem to our business stakeholders or even to our clients, right? are we painting a picture of what might happen if you take option one or option B, or if you don't take that option at all? So I think I have always believed in the power of storytelling. I really encourage you all to tell stories, right? Not tell tales, but tell stories. And sort of package your legal advice, which is based on facts, your legal education in that story format. So that's the first thing. I think the second thing we sometimes forget, especially if we have done professional degrees, right? Doctors, lawyers, engineers, or even chartered accountants, architects, we are very focused on facts and data. While that is great, I think what really works is when you're focused on your gut feeling and intuition. And that gut feeling and intuition doesn't come from the fact that you feel that way, right? It comes from a fact that you are trained to feel or think that way. So there's a very interesting book I had read when I was quite young. I would recommend that book a lot to all of you. It's called Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. In that book, what the author does is he talks about a phenomenon called thin slicing, right? What is thin slicing? So basically, thin slicing is a fact that your subconscious mind is processing data so fast, right, that you come to a conclusion in a blink. So that's what the book is about. I think our jobs are exactly that. We are thin slicing all the time. Whether you're working with a law firm or in-house or an advisory role, we look at a problem, we come to the conclusion. Sometimes the challenge that we feel or see is how do we explain where we arrived, how we arrived, right? So that's going to help you with the power of storytelling. So you tell a story and believe in that thin slicing, believe in that intuition. A lot of times, when I'm in meetings, etc., in the board with very senior execs, peers, sometimes they ask me, hey, but how do you come to that conclusion? And you know what I say? I say, I don't know. But that's my gut feeling. And I'm paid to give you my gut feeling, right? So we have to remember that in the end, our expertise is not just from education, but also from conditioning. Let's not forget that, okay? All right. So the third thing, and I'm switching gears very, very quickly because I'm mindful of the time. The third thing that I think we sometimes forget because we are all so busy. We have a lot of work pressure. We have a lot of deadlines. We have to turn around work product, contracts. We have to negotiate. It's a mad world, right? Especially if you're a lawyer, whether in-house or outside. Is the power of collaboration. We forget that, right? It takes a little bit extra time to collaborate, to bring everybody in the fold of your decision making. But when you do that, you're creating a foundation of what you're going to say and that acceptability. So my advice to you would be that try to collaborate from day one, right? I was having a conversation with Philip earlier, and one of the things we were discussing is how sometimes lawyers are brought to the decision-making process much later in the game, right? Doesn't matter. Insert yourself, right? Go ahead. Talk to your business people, your marketing head, your sales head, your CEO, and tell them, hey, just wanted to understand what's going on, right? It starts from there, but doesn't stop there. Insert yourself in the decision-making process. Know your business really well, right? And one of the things that I have done in a lot of my in-house roles is very short secondments into business, right? So I joined as a lawyer, but I've done some short stints, either as a business development manager or a salesperson. I know in the audience, some of you have done that as well. And it's invaluable, that experience to get to know your core business, your customers, who you're serving, the challenges on the field. That's invaluable, right? I don't think we can be a good lawyer or even come close to being a good lawyer if you don't understand our business well, whether it's in-house business or even our client's business, right? One of the things that I do, and this is just a tip for probably younger lawyers out there, when I go for a job interview, let's say, the first thing that I read is a company's annual report, right? What happens when you do that is you understand the direction and the high-level strategy that the organization is going to take. So translate that when you've joined the organization. Read up material, read up customer testaments, right? Talk to people who are outside the purview of your work, right? Very junior level employees, field level employees. Understand what their problems are, all right? So this is something that has really worked well for me. The last point that really ensures that you are on track on your leadership journey are not your bosses, they're your team, the people that you manage, right? How many of you manage people in this group? There's a lot of you. How well do you know your people? Do you know what motivates them? Yeah, of course, I have 28 members in my team. I know how many children they have, what they like to eat, right? What their spouses are working on, what kind of movies they want to watch. Yes, I do know that. But do I know what their ambition is? What motivates them? What is that one or two factor that makes the space happy for them? The work environment conducible? When I say get to know your team, I mean that. And not just the statistics, not just their resume, right? So for me, I have been extremely fortunate to have amazing, bright, extremely talented people in my team. That itself is a huge motivation to work towards them. A good manager or a good leader cannot be one unless they're a good mentor. Mentorship is key, right? Are you really bringing out the best in your team? Do you really understand their motivation? Do you know what really drives them? And most importantly, are you invested in their careers, right? So for me, I always have belief that while managing bosses and doing great presentations and having executive presence is all good, but no one's going to speak for you if you're not a great mentor, right? And it doesn't stop with your team. It can extend to outside of your team, outside of your department and or function. Similarly, also actively find other mentors for your team. Go engage with business, right? And tell them, hey, I have a great girl or guy in my team, and I want you to mentor them. I want you to tell them what the company is all about, what engaging with the customer is all about. So investing in your team really goes a long way. And last but not the least, I don't think we can pour from an empty cup. So please invest in yourself. Rest, exercise, good food, yoga, whatever works, right? For me, it's a combination of all of these, as well as reading, spending time with friends and family. Gone are the days when we think that working from 7 to 11 makes a great lawyer. No. I think wellness, especially mental health, has become a large part of the conversation these days, right? Please be mindful of your own mental health as well as your team's. And with that, I leave you here today to have fun, have a great day. If there are questions, happy to answer them now or later. Thank you so much.